Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and we're finally talking about the biggest news story of the year involving Magic the Gathering. It's eBay's acquisition, or pending one, of TCGPlayer. Now, I've been on eBay almost since it was invented. I have several thousand feedback, and I'm not new to selling cards on it. TCGPlayer I have never used, but apparently a lot of other people use it because eBay's bid to buy TCGPlayer is $295 million. That seems insane. Think about the percentage that they take at TCGPlayer, which has absolutely skyrocketed in the last couple of years from what I've heard. And then think of what their gross sales could possibly be on the platform. And then come to the conclusion that they're not worth $295 million. But it's not about that. It's not about profitability directly. It's about competition and monopolies. Which, by the way, is why this might fall apart. I don't know how close the FTC would look at this, but it's definitely not a good move for anyone. It's definitely bad news all around. So eBay fees in the last several years have gone astronomical. They're completely out of control. They're well above 10%. It's utterly ridiculous, and their completely inept management for the last, at least 15 years has completely failed to do anything about crappy foreign sellers with terrible reputations, no local language skills, and selling just absolute garbage with terrible reviews. All they've tried to do is rip off how other places do business, like Amazon. Their big thing is reviews, which most of them are now fake, and they've failed to do anything about it. But they based it on UPCs, and then they didn't allow you to review individual unique items, and filing for a UPC is extremely expensive, so it all fell apart. So every initiative like this where they tried to fix something, they must have come up with a quarterly report or a complaint from an investor or some marketing research poll thing. Basically the once a month at least that they do why are you so mad survey. Then they had a knee-jerk reaction. Some executive was like, well, let's do this. Haha, I'm such a great leader. And then they implemented it and it didn't work. And then they just kind of lost interest and moved on to the next thing. So just complete half-effort garbage. And if you look at some of the stuff that they've banned in the last 10 years or some rules changes they've made, it was so comically overdue and so late to the party. Somewhat recently, they decided to stop letting people sell magic items and actual spells. As it turns out, it caused a lot of feedback issues, backlash, and disputes. In fact, look how long it took them to stop letting sellers leave retaliatory bad feedback on a buyer if the buyer left them bad feedback for perfectly legitimate reasons. It was years we had to suffer through that. So they are a slow-moving dinosaur run by just disjointed teams who don't know what they're doing and don't talk to each other, I guess. That would be my guess. So it's very similar to YouTube. So nothing changes, nothing moves, and the platform never gets better, and then they just cover for themselves with market share monopoly abuse, buying their competition, and upping fees to cover their losses, and then doing absolutely nothing about the actual problems. So that's where we're at with eBay. TCGPlayer, all they've done lately is up their fees and make it slightly easier to actually be one of their customers as a seller. I think you used to, back in the day, have to sell 10 of an item, and then I don't know, honestly, it wasn't that different than Amazon. And then you get to a tier that lets you sell bigger, which makes sense. You can't just register an account and sell $1 million worth of cards with no reputation. Probably not good. But to work up to the point where you could actually run a small store on there took so long, people wouldn't even bother. They'd just get on eBay. So that's the major difference between them. But what brought this on? And the answer is eBay has had a little bit of slippage in the monopoly department. Poshmark, Etsy, and Facebook Marketplace are just destroying eBay's market share, and they found out that it's not the best knee-jerk reaction to just up fees to make up for the losses and then pretend the boat isn't sinking. They cannot afford to lose market share to anyone. Oh, did I mention Amazon too? That's another one of their noteworthy competitors. And technically Newegg if you just look at sheer sales volume, but it was a little more vetted until they sold Newegg to a Chinese company, and the first thing they did just about day one was commit loan fraud. Why the FTC under Obama allowed that is completely beyond me. So a lot of very crooked, bad anti-consumer moves in this whole area, but eBay realized that two things it can do something about are sneakers and other footwear and highly collectible items and TCG items. So their initial effort, just fairly recently actually, I want to say 3 years ago, was they brought out some kind of card scanner where you can use the eBay mobile app and just kind of take a basic snapshot of one of your cards and it'll say, oh, that's that one. And I heard once in a while it even works. eBay, since they've been invented, was losing money to third-party plugins and services and stuff. Like, I mean, besides back in the day, auto-bidding sniping services that'll bid at the last second for you if you're not fast enough, to like third-party listing management because their listing management is garbage, and they're like, oh, that's fine, the pros will just use that. And then somebody came in and said, wait a minute, we're losing money. Maybe we should make our platform not crap so that somebody doesn't have to go to the sketchy third-party one and give them full access to, the API to their account. Who would have thought? Seriously, when it comes to tech companies, eBay is just about the most incompetent that is still around and still this big. So if you're thinking, all of this doesn't sound good for the acquisition, that is correct. So their solution to sneakers was just zero fee. Real simple. I think it was past a certain price point. So like some nice Jordans or something actually nice, not just, oh, you're selling some footwear to some person, to actually wear. The fee is quite literally zero. eBay's take is nothing. Pretty hard to compete with zero. That brought people back to eBay. Suck it, Poshmark. Now, shipping on shoes isn't the easiest thing, but, if you can get them under a pound, and you can put them in something fairly rigid but not insane, because, they're shoes. They're meant to have like a 200-pound person stand on them, so they're not going to get destroyed in the mail. But highly collectible ones, yeah, you got to get a fairly protected box, so that was already an expense. Then the shipping will tend to be above a pound, which is where it gets really expensive. So if you're sitting there losing, 10, 15 bucks on every shipment, even just domestically in America, yeah, already not pretty. That's 0%. It's really hard to compete with 0% because other places will operate at like a loss or dead even while they gain market share, and then they'll try to start creeping up the fees. And that's what several of eBay's competitors were doing in that field and others. So TCGPlayer started turbo cheap, they got huge market share, and then they doubled or tripled their fees from what I've heard over like the last long period of time. But people were already established. They had their accounts, they had their reputations. This is how every startup works. Even Amazon did that. They operated at a loss forever, and their stock was like a joke. Like an actual literal joke among investors, and now look where they are. Enough monopoly abuse and lobbying and buying off congressmen, and ta-da, you get a monopoly. And then look at other labor disputes, how they treat their people, and how they lie about everything, and their problems with fake reviews, and how they've just settled into, who cares, nobody's going to beat us. We don't have to actually be good, we just have to maintain a monopoly. So once again, if that sounds foreboding for eBay's acquisition of TCGPlayer, yes, you are correct. But TCGPlayer was going a bad direction anyway. So a lot of drama, a lot of, moving around, a lot of crooked dealing. What else is new? And don't forget the corporate speak on top of it. Oh, yes. A press release from TCGPlayer says TCGPlayer will still continue to operate independently after the acquisition while strengthening eBay's strategic omni-channel capabilities like order fulfillment and cart optimization. What does that mean? Nothing. Generic corporate fluff nonsense to make it sound like this is a positive thing. It is not. So they're going to continue to operate independently. If you think, they're going to shut them down, just buy them out, make them go away. No, not at this volume. Absolutely not. So the best example I can say is that eBay currently owns Proxibid, Proxi bid. That is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, like bankruptcy, liquidation, and auction platforms as far as like a traditional auction, like an in-person or hybrid online auction. And they have the best invention ever. The anti-eBay is what I call it. It's actually called a soft ending, where if somebody bids in the last, I believe it's 2 minutes, it will bump the timer up to 2 minutes. So if I had 7 days left on this set of 12, office chairs from this place that went bankrupt, and they're going for 50 cents a piece, and I bid 55 cents, I am going to not, in the last 5 seconds if I bid that, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to bump up the timer for 2 minutes. That means the seller doesn't get ripped off. The buyers don't try to play a stupid game. It's not fast as fingers, it's whoever's willing to pay the most. What a concept. eBay still hasn't rolled that out, and they own the platform that in theory owns the patent to that. What the hell? Nope, to this day, last second sniping is still a thing on eBay. My theory is that some people find it exciting and it keeps them on the platform. Because otherwise you're just shopping, and what the hell's the difference between that and Amazon and Newegg? As a seller, I can tell you how many items I put for auction, and it's not damn much because I keep getting screwed by that stupid, last second bidding. But Proxibid's volume is unbelievable. So whenever they acquired it, started it, I don't even know the history of that, and it's not relevant. They did keep them completely separate. They didn't just roll them into eBay and call it eBay Live Auctions or something. They kept Proxibid a separate website, and very few people know that they own them. Okay, I was actually curious. It looks like they may have acquired them in 2015. Huh. So yeah, it's recent enough to say, yeah, maybe they are going to keep TCGPlayer as its own thing on its own website with its own logo and its own community and just sit there and collect money from it. Sound familiar? That's what Hasbro does with Wizards of the Coast, and how did that work out? Constant pressure on them to be more profitable, more profitable, more profitable. To cover bad management, stupid business decisions, being way behind, and stupid moves by the corporation, or the top people. It's like the same thing. Now, TCGPlayer is extremely profitable, last I heard, so, they won't have to do much, but if you think they're acquiring them just because, oh, look, a new piggy bank, let's not get too aggressive, whatever, let's just stop losing business to them and just control everything. The whole point of controlling everything is so that you can up the prices like crazy, okay? This is going to result in higher fees and just anti-consumer mismanagement and everything. I mean, I doubt too many people from TCGPlayer management are leaving. But when eBay owns you, they can tell you what to do. It doesn't matter if you're still in a manager position or not. If you don't do what they tell you to, they'll just fire you. So this is all around bad. There's nothing possibly good about this. And CEO and founder of TCGPlayer, Chady Hampson, is selling out the entire community and just taking a paycheck. I get it, but really? You must not care about the community, you must care about money. But then again, I don't see .org on the end of their website, you know what I mean? It'll be good for them for sticking it out and fixing problems and staying up to date and not being too awful. Because, look at all the other sites like Puka Trade and, Card Shark is still a thing. I always like them. And there's people who tried to, sponsor my channel with some sketchy new one. I guess I won't name names because I didn't accept the sponsorship and I don't trust them. Actually, those two go hand in hand. But yeah, there have been marketplaces that try to get into it because how hard could it be? And then all the theft drama and scamming and reputations, it turns out they get in over their heads. All the administration costs get nuts and then they tend to fold. Plus, you never save enough money for marketing. You need at least $1 million to launch something like that, just in marketing, not even infrastructure. And then the code gets hacked, and yeah, it turns out there's a lot to competing with something like TCGPlayer or eBay. Who would have thought? You can't just do it in your basement. And in Puka Trade's case, it looks like you also need to know how to do math and business. Who would have thought? Maybe after they shut down, the Democrats are hiring where you just print money and pretend like that's just going to work. They definitely don't seem to understand how point inflation, free giveaways, and manufacturing currency works. Who am I talking about between the two? Both. So if you're angry about this move, or you don't like the future, or you're just starting out on TCGPlayer and want to jump ship, I would recommend going to Card Shark. I've never sold on them, but I bought from them, and they always have better prices. I never had a problem. They let you buy in bulk. I don't like that they support doing buyouts, but at the end of the day, someone's just going to do it anyway. On eBay, they don't do crap to protect against that, so you got to say, oh, I got that 1% market share, but I'm changing the world by not letting people do buyouts. Yeah, just because Card Kingdom doesn't let people buy above 8 of certain cards doesn't mean you can't just turn around and buy out the entire world on eBay, okay? Trust me, Card Kingdom's policy is more about themselves and having things in stock than preventing buyouts and having somebody corner the market on, certain singles. So I guess the only other relevant news that I had in my notes to throw in is that the number one problem on eBay versus TCGPlayer, this is why, and once again, eBay let this go for years. Not even a quarter, not even let's closely monitor our competition. Actual years. TCGPlayer let people send stuff in plain white envelopes, and eBay required first class. Now, because Amazon was abusing the first class system, the U.S. Postal Service in America had to redo how they do fees. It was literally stated by them and well agreed upon by the industry. That was the reason, because Amazon was shipping really far stuff with first class that was under 16 ounces and really close stuff themselves. Now, priority was zone-based. You send it further, you pay more. Real simple. First class was the same everywhere. And so Amazon was abusing it. It cost the U.S. Postal Service millions to billions in lost sales. And so they changed it. What they should have done is just banned Amazon and said you're on your own. Ta-da, done. But Amazon set up its own distribution network and it competes. And long term, that wasn't a good idea. And they probably should have done something about it earlier. So all of us now have to pay, I think it's $3.80 to send one sub 1 ounce card in a first class bubble mailer, a little 5x7, to California from Wisconsin, we'll say. I think it's even worse to Alaska, but not by much. It used to be $2.10, and we're already paying for the envelope and the top loader. So it was basically $3 to send anything anywhere, and hopefully you'd get a set of 4 and just not sell anything below $20. That's pretty much how us on eBay did things. It was getting really annoying selling a $7 card and losing 50% of it in fees and printed labels and paper and ink. Bubble mailers, top loaders, scotch tape, and my own labor. Okay, that was not good. So TCGPlayer, boy, anything under about, 20, 30 bucks, people just cram them in an envelope, mark it as non-machinable, and pay like $1. Not even usually. Sometimes it was just a stamp. I mean, if you could keep it pretty thin and under 1 ounce, there you go. So let's see. Recently, a couple years ago, it was like basically $4 to send a card on eBay, or you could do it for 50 cents on TCGPlayer. And then eBay got the reputation of being the place where nobody wants to shop because all the sellers would only have the high-end cards and you literally could not buy commons. So after sitting around like a morbidly obese dinosaur, they finally decided to move, and they negotiated with the U.S. Postal Service to make a trackable plain white envelope. I believe it's about $1. And they rolled it out as some big announcement right around the same time as you could use the eBay mobile app to recognize a card with AI and save yourself all the typing and time on listing, because it takes way the hell too long to make listings on eBay. That is the number one complaint. All they've done is add on more details because Newegg and Amazon are crushing them on like searchable static fields. Now everybody and their grandma searches for magic cards based on the name. I guess some people are just like, show me foil, show me ultra rare, show me promos. But that's got to be 1 to 5% in my estimate. People are just like, I want this card, I'm typing it into the search at the end. The only thing you need is the name, its condition, and the set. That is it. And they make us put in like 50 fields, but thank God in this category they're still optional. So eBay still doesn't have their crap together, but my gosh, did that resurrect the whole thing, with selling cards on eBay. The problem is TCGPlayer was so far ahead of them and so big, their only option at this point in 2022 is to acquire them because they are just getting killed on this. So the refocus on sneakers and collectible cards and collectibles in general, comics and stuff, has been failing pretty badly. They're taking drastic action way too late, and now they're just saying, you know what? Instead of trying to compete or be better or fix our problems or throw staff or effort at it or improve our support or do anything or fix fraud or fix garbage overseas sellers that lie about shipping, or the fact that still to this day you can't sell anything above about $500 on eBay without getting ripped off, or GPU return scammers, or Chinese theft groups using stolen accounts, stolen credentials. They're not going to do anything about any of that. Or counterfeit card disputes. No, what they're going to do is just fall back on, let's just buy our way out of this problem. Let's just purchase TCGPlayer, and then we can keep being awful and stop losing money to them. And then the next time their quarterlies don't look good, they're going to say, well, what can we do? Let's just up the fees, a little bit, just like a couple percent at TCGPlayer. It's a couple percent on eBay, which is what they've been doing. They're at like 12.9 now. It's ridiculous. And you can get a bigger discount if you get like the absolute most crazy expensive high volume and do everything our way and get top seller certified and get like 10, 20% of your fees back on eBay. But we're forcing you to go with our level of volume and to do things exactly our way, which is not the best way to sell stuff, by the way. It costs you money, costs you time, not worth the headaches, and nobody does it. Nobody with a brain does it. Everybody in the reseller world says on eBay, it is not worth it to try to get top seller status just to get 10, 20% of your fees back, okay? I will just take that money and flush it down the toilet sooner than comply with their ridiculous requirements. One of the requirements is you can't sell anything digital goods. It has to be all hard tracked. 1 in 200 defect rate. That means if anybody has anything, a return, a question, a complaint, opens a case, anything, 1 in 200, you lose top seller status. And 1 in 200 of my customers are morons, okay? Way higher than that. They don't know where they live, they don't know what they bought, they don't know how to read, and they can't find their own ass with both hands, okay? Way higher than 0.5%. Okay, it's probably closer to 1 in 50. How these people even have a working bank account and a credit card is beyond me. I really don't know. I think they've changed it later to a defect rate closer to like 1%, but let's just say it's not going to happen. So they've been manipulating, coercing, trying to trick their sellers, but the best, smartest, most successful ones are smart and successful business people. So that whole strategy has been falling apart. They've been losing people left and right, and eBay has been a joke. Their stock price is trash, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. So like I said, they are incapable from a management standpoint of fixing any of this. And it's because you keep hiring the wrong people. You look at some of the people that didn't work out and some of their big, look at us, look who we hired. It's just, look at their demographics. Aren't we so great? I mean, we don't care if they're actually good at the job. We just want to say we hired a checkbox. And that route, I could have sworn there's a saying. I think it's something like, get woke, go broke. And that's what they've been doing. It was back in the day just mismanagement, but now that corporate virtue signaling is a thing, they've embraced it fully, and their last female CEO didn't go so well. If I think there was multiple, I just stopped giving a crap at this point. So yeah, if you think, oh, this is so great, it'll centralize it, they'll just drop in resources. No, you're probably the type of person then that would fall for an MCN scam on YouTube. Or go work for 100 Thieves or FaZe. Don't do that. So we'll take like 75%, and in exchange we'll give you nothing and require you to live in LA and pay your own rent. Good luck. No, that's what eBay's bringing to the table with TCGPlayer. They're not like, we're going to combine resources and save you so much money, we'll be able to lower fees and benefit the community as a whole. No, they're going to rip you off. This is their last resort after they have failed miserably to compete with them. Why do you think they're offering almost $300 million to buy them? Okay, this ain't no $5 million startup that they just want out of the way. It is out of control. They have failed to put out the fire, so now they're just going to drop a pile of money on it to try to smother the fire, okay? That's the best analogy for what's going on here. From an insider who is very high volume on eBay, and I've sold everything from shoes to cards to whatever I can find at Goodwill to computer parts, or trust me, if there's a hard drive shortage, I'm always on it. 2012 was a good year. So that's the gist of it. I'm going to go back to not selling generic brands of HP Inc. because eBay still allows HP to make a fake RICO claim, which is, oh, you're violating our trademark and copyright and selling a counterfeit and you're awful and strike against your account. Now you can't sell for 30 days, even though very clearly it's a generic and you're not claiming it's HP. But they just let HP bully people around and get a monopoly because HP only makes money on ink. Their computers are trash. And so are their printers. They're not doing anything about that because they don't care about the sellers. They don't care about the community. There's always another seller and people can go sell on another platform. Oh, wait, they bought them all. So as long as there's money involved, they don't care if it's anti-consumer. They go where the money is, and you should be deeply concerned about this acquisition. I would get off TCGPlayer as quickly as you possibly can. And honestly, just from like a high-level point, just to zoom out and see the whole picture here, you should be selling your cards as quickly as possible. Now, the last time I checked, some of the best big names in the industry, not going to name any names because I don't want to, sponsor them or send business their way. Also, I don't agree with the way most of them do business or who they hire or how they treat their employees. But if I were to just take a stack of cards, like the last Double Masters I opened, if I were to sell every single card to, insert name of big, pretty good priced, good value buy list at super mega card vendor, I would get, let's just say $100. And if I were to sell every single one on eBay that I possibly can, ship them mostly individually, almost no, repeats where people buy, 4 play sets at once. They will buy individual cards or play sets, and that is it. So with the shipping, the envelopes, the overhead and all that, and the labor and the going to the post office every day for 2 weeks instead of just shipping them all out at once, let's just ignore all the labor and just go with the price. I will actually make almost the exact same amount of money, and I think that's on purpose. A lot of buy list prices for hot cards are at 60-70%. A lot of low-end ones, I literally would have lost money on eBay, so that's just free money. If they pay me a quarter for some bulk rare or something, or some semi, popular uncommon. Look, 4 of them for $1 on eBay, I'd lose money on shipping. I'd have to plain white envelope it. It's just not going to happen. So all things together, if I were to sell an entire box of opened cards from Double Masters, I'd probably come out about 3 to 5% above if I just sold it to whoever on a buy list all at once. Okay, and it's a hell of a lot less effort. So I say this because you should get rid of your collection as fast as humanly possible. Magic is dying horribly. The metrics are awful. Rotation didn't fix anything. The new policies are crap. They've resorted to just eliminating standard and selling completely to people that are playing casual, kitchen table, and commander, while also trying to rip off, people on Arena and then desperately selling off MTGO to a third party. So all of those indicate they're in deep, deep, deep trouble. Everything but their financial reports, but just wait for the first couple in 2023 and the last couple of 2022. They can no longer blame COVID. They can blame their own wallet fatigue that they forced on people and how many people they forced out of the game on an active user standpoint, which is never going to be in their quarterlies. Ever. They will release that when hell freezes over. They even blocked third parties from tracking it because they didn't want investors to know the truth. You would think that would be illegal. You would think. The other thing I'll say is you aren't going to make any money buying even really hot reprint sets or like getting your hands on some pretty high-end, rare stuff or getting a better price locally or, pre-ordering so that you get it. And then opening it and immediately selling it day one on eBay, TCGPlayer, or to a buy list. I mean, I've made money. I think the highest I've ever made is probably BFZ, sold some of the full art, sold all the expeditions. I might have made 20-30%. That was considered a hot set. The most money I've ever made is 40% on some Masters set. It was after the whole Masters 25 and EMA and Iconic disaster. It was the next one that they brought back. I think it was... I really don't remember. What was it? The first Double Masters? No, Ultimate Masters. That had to have been what it was. It was one of the two. I think it was the first double masters. I made like 30, 40, 50% right around there. And I threw like 10K at it, okay? Like, that was big, big, big money. Almost everything else in standard I lost money on or broke even. It is impossible to make money selling singles unless you just do it absolutely perfectly. Sell every common, list everything, do it super high volume, open it all in one day, list it all in one day. Just absolutely burn yourself out, get like free assistants who just like cracking packs, use illegal underage child labor. I don't care what you do, okay? You do all that, you sell every single common you possibly can, you get a reputation as like the place to go to just get your whole deck and get every single instead of people having to bounce around. You do all that and start making money from the common and uncommon slots, you're good. But anything other than that, buy listing, only selling the expensive cards, only selling rares, that is not a business. That is you wasting your time to lose 10% every time or more, okay? It was the #1 downward arrow on my balance sheets every single year that I held my shop. Because remember, we did a couple different things there. It wasn't just a Magic shop. In fact, we very rarely had people play there. I mean, we had a table for 6 people, that's about it. And they were all my friends, and we weren't WPN members, which means we couldn't hold F&M or pre-releases, but I could get the products. But the way they do distribution and all that, don't even get me started. And like, we're talking distributor prices, I couldn't make money. Not usually. I mean, back in the day, way back in the day when I started, I could make 10, 20% on anything. And then all of a sudden it just, standard got worse and worse and worse. And the competition got worse. They didn't do anything about certain sellers on eBay driving down the price of everything. You couldn't make any money sealed because anybody could do that. And then the mix-up where they kicked out ACD distributors and brought in an even more crooked one. It all fell apart. That was it. Now you basically have to be WPN to get your hands on it. And if you buy it retail and open it and crack it and flip it, welcome to losing 50%. Okay, it doesn't even matter what product it is at that point. So if you're thinking about starting a business or moving something around, I would just liquidate your collection and find a different line of work, okay? Cards are going to crash hard. I mean, inflation's propping them up a little bit, but the market is terrible. Ask any single seller how business has been in the last 6 months. Horrible. And right around Christmas is maybe when you want to unload some of this stuff. So I'm just saying, like, coming up to the shopping season in November and, in America, Thanksgiving, that is when you want to get the inventory in someone else's hands, either the end user who wants it or sell them to a buy list. I would start selling your collection right now. In fact, I would have started doing it when people were buying them up because of Biden's inflation about a year and a half ago. Because people were buying stuff up to protect assets, okay? And that's back when the game was doing moderately kind of okay. Now you're so late to it, the second you close this video, I'd go start selling cards you aren't completely married to. If you care about value, if you care about getting the money out of it, or if you care about like the whole total collection value of your collection. If you don't, you're like, I'm keeping the cards because I want to play with the cards and I like them and it's a collection, I don't care. I already spent the money, I'm keeping them forever, I don't care if I have 4 people to play with, then ignore what I just said. But yeah, to reiterate, don't open a TCGPlayer or eBay account right now and think, I'm going to start selling cards, I can make so much money doing it. Not really. I mean, the best way to make money, my friend's been doing it, and this is how I still make money, is trying to buy collections secondhand, get on Facebook, get on, Craigslist, wherever you got to do, monitor various places, and buy the right kind of mislabeled blind lots from people who don't know what they're selling on eBay. But you're competing with so many people locally and nationally doing that. It's pretty rough. But my friend will, go to 2 pickups a day all over the state trying to buy collections from people and just give them, 30% instead of 70%. And then he just flips them on a buy list, eBay. He sells on multiple platforms and still he only makes like 10, 20,000 a year doing it. So there is no business involving collectible cards right now that is viable. It's just not. And then you open a store and say, we're going to do it at that level and sell locally and blah, 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 hold F&M. And no, as soon as you go to staff and all that, stores are dying and the game is horrible. Don't even touch it. And Watsy, if you don't like what I'm saying, everything I'm saying is the truth in my opinion. So maybe just be better. Maybe just stop ruining the game and power creeping and abusing everyone. Tell Hasbro to get off your back and just make less money and say, what are you going to do about it? We're looking for the long-term health of the game, okay? So fire me and then replace me with somebody else who's going to ruin it. I know what I'm doing and you don't. Although I wouldn't apply that statement to almost anybody who works at Watsy right now, but they got to grow a spine and give a crap about the community and do what's right instead of just, okay, fine, we'll do what they're asking. We'll ramp it up to hell. Oh, what happened to standard? What happened to all our customers? Yeah, turn it around. Fix it. Or you're not going to have a job and you're not going to have a company. But all those morons probably think, oh, those evil Trumpers are going to cause a civil war, so who cares about the future of the game? Let's make money now. The sky is falling because they can't turn off CNN or Twitter. But that's a topic for another video and probably another channel. So hey, thanks for watching, and at this point, subscribe if you like the video, the content, and you're new here. or if YouTube unsubscribed you, or if you've been watching my channel for a year and forgot to subscribe. I know I'm guilty of that with a bunch of channels I watch. And yeah, I do tend to do really well-researched, well-written. It took me a week to make this video. Just little mini documentaries that don't just, read a headline, read an article, and say, well, good luck. I give you the full story based on evidence, research, and my own expertise. And if I can't do that, I don't make the video. So if you want the source to hear about what's really happening from every possible angle with the most possible information, definitely stick around on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.